Good morning, friends. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Mr. Shahnawaz Ali. This is Shahnawaz. In this video, we will continue our GK video series, and this uh, is the seventh part of this video series. And here I start from the page number 15, Modern India. Advent of the Europeans. Portuguese Vasco da Gama reached the port of Calicut in 1498 during the reign of King Jammurin, Hindu ruler of Calicut. Settlements Daman, Salsette, Chaul and Bombay, West Coast, San Thom near Madras and at Hooghly. Alfonso de Albuquerque, the second governor of India, first being Francisco de Almeida, arrived in 1509 and captured Goa in AD 1510. Dutch East India Company was formed in AD 1602. Dutch were defeated by English at the Battle of Bedara at 1759, and as per agreement, the Dutch gained the control over Indonesia and the British over India, Sri Lanka and Malaya. Settlements. They set up their first factory at Masulipatanam in 1605. Their other factories were at Pulicat, Chinsura, Patna, Balasore, Nagapatnam, Cochin, Surat, Kraikal and Kasim Bazar. English. The English East India Company was formed in 1599 under a charter granted by Queen Elizabeth in 1600. Jahangir granted a firman to Captain William Hawkins, permitting the English to erect a factory at Surat 1613. In 1615, Sir Thomas Roe succeeded in getting an imperial firman to trade and establish factory in all parts of the Mughal Empire by ruler Jahangir. In 1690, a factory was established at Suttanati by Job Charnock in 1698. Following the acquisition of Jamindari of the three villages of Suttanati, Kalikata and Govindpur, the city of Calicut was founded. Fort Williams was set up in 1700. In 1717, John Sherman obtained a firman from Warwickshire which gave large concession to the company. This firman has been called the Magna Carta of the company. Battle of Plassey 1757, English defeated Siraj-ud-Dawla, the Nawab of Bengal. Battle of Buxar 1764. Captain Munro defeated joint forces of Mir Qasim Bengal, Shuja-ud-Dawla Awadh and Shah Alam II Mughal. Danes. The Danish East India Company was formed in 1616. The Danish colony Tranquebar was established on southern Coromandel coast of India. Settlements Sirampur, Bengal and Tranquebar, Tamil Nadu sold their settlements to the English in 1845. French. The French East India Company was formed by Colbert under state patronage in 1664. The first French factory was established at Surat by Francois Caron in 1668. A factory at Masulipatanam was set up in 1669. French were defeated by English in Battle of Vandivas 1760. Governor Generals of Bengal Warren Hastings 1774 to 85 brought the dual government to an end, and by the Regulation Act 1773, the Act of 1781 made clear demarcation between the jurisdiction of Governor General in Council and Supreme Court at Calcutta. Pitt's India Act 1784, Rohilla War 1774, First Maratha War 1775 to 1782, and the Treaty of Salbai with Marathas 1782. And the Second Mysore War 1780 to 84, Foundation of Asiatic Society of Bengal 1784 in Calcutta by Sir William Jones. English translation of Bhagavad Gita by Charles Wilkins in 1785. Lord Cornwallis AD 1786 to 1903. Third Mysore War 1719 to 92 and Treaty of Srirangapatnam 1792. Introduced permanent settlement in Bengal and Bihar 1793. He is called the father of civil services in India, introduced judicial reforms by separating revenue administration from judicial administration, and established a system of circles, thana, headed by a daroga, an Indian. Translation of Abhigyan Shakuntalam in English by William Jones in 1789. Sir John Shore, AD 1793 to 98, played an important role in the introduction of permanent settlements. Battle of Kharda between the Nizams and the Marathas, 1795. Lord Wellesley, AD 1798 to 1805. Introduction of the subsidiary alliance, 1798. First alliance with Nizam of Hyderabad, followed by the Mysore, Tanjore, Awadh, and the Peshwa, and the Bhosle and the Sindhia. Treaty of Bassein, 1802, and the Second Maratha War. George Barlow, 1805 to 7. Vellore Mutiny, 1806. Lord Minto I, 1807 to 13. Concluded the Treaty of Amritsar with Maharaja Ranjit Singh, 1809. Charter Act of 1813 was passed. Lord Hastings, 88 AD 1813 to 28, Anglo-Nepal War 1814 to 1816, and Treaty of Sangoli 1816. Third Maratha War 1817 to 18, dissolution of Maratha Confederacy and creation of Bombay Presidency. Pindri War and establishment of Rayatwari system by Thomas Munro 1820. Lord Amherst AD 1823 to 28. First Burmese War 1824 to 26. Treaty of Yandabu 1826 and capture of Bharatpur. Governor Generals of India, Lord William Bentinck 1828 to 35. Charter Act of 1833 was passed and he was made the first Governor General of India. Before him, the designation given was Governor General of Bengal. Carried out social reforms like prohibition of sati 1829 and elimination of thugs 1830. On Macaulay's recommendations, English was made the medium of higher education, suppressed female infanticide and child sacrifice. Lord Metcalfe 1835 to 36, known as Liberator of the Press in India. Lord Auckland 1836 to 42. First Afghan War 1838 to 42, a disaster for the English. Lord Ellenborough 1842 to 44. Brought an end of Afghan War, war with the Gwalior 1843, annexation of Sindh by the Charles Napier 1843. Lord Hardinge 1844 to 48. First Anglo-Sikh War 1845 to 46 and Treaty of Lahore 1846 gave preference to English educated person in employment. Lord Dalhousie 1848 to 56. Introduction of doctrine of lapse and annexation of Satara 1848, Jaitpur and Sambalpur 1849, Bhagat 1850, Udaipur 1852, Jhansi 1853, Nagpur 1854, and Awadh annexed in 1856 on the account of maladministration. Laid down the first railway line between Bombay and Thane 1853, telegraph line between Calcutta and Agra, and postal reforms. First issue of Indian stamp in Karachi in 1854 with the Post Office Act. Widow Remarriage Act 1856, the main force being Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, started Public Works Department, Grand Trunk Road work and harbour of Karachi, Bombay and Calcutta developed. Charter Act 1853, selection to civil service through competitive examinations, started Engineering College at Roorkee, made Shimla the summer capital of India. Viceroys of India, Lord Canning AD 1856 to 62. The last Governor General and the first Viceroy withdrew doctrine of lapse. Revolt of 1857, mutiny took place. Indian Penal Code 1860 was passed. Passed the Act 1858, which ended the rule of the East India Company. The universities of Calcutta, Bombay and Madras were established in 1857. Lord Elgin 1862, Wahhabi movement. Lord John Lawrence 1864 to 69, stabilized the high courts at Calcutta, Bombay, and Madras in 1865. Telegraphic communication was opened with Europe, created the Indian Forest Department. Lord Mayo 1869 to 72 organized the Statistical Survey of India, and for the first time in Indian history, a census was held in 1871. Started the process of financial decentralization in India, stabilized the Department of Agriculture and Commerce, established the Rajkot College at Kathiawar and Mayo College at Ajmer for the Indian princes. He was the only viceroy to be murdered in office by the Pathan convict in the Andamans in 1872. Lord Northbrook, AD 1872 to 76. Kuka Rebellion in Punjab, famine in Bihar. Lord Lytton 1876 to 80, known as the Viceroy of Reverse Character, Royal Title Act of 1876, and the assumption of the title of Empress of India by Queen Victoria, the Delhi Darbar in January 1877. Vernacular Press Act, also called the Gagging Act, to restrain the circulation of the printed matter, and the Arms Act made it mandatory for Indians to acquire license in arms of 1878. Lord Ripon, 1880 to 84. First Factory Act of 1881 prohibited child labor under the age of 7. Local self-government was introduced in 1882. Repealed the Vernacular Press Act in 1882. Finances the center were divided. Lord Ripon is regarded as the founding father of the local self-government in India. An education commission was appointed under Sir William Hunter in 1882 to improve primary and secondary education. The Ilbert Bill controversy 1883 enabled Indian district magistrate to try European criminals. Lord Dufferin 1884 to 88. Third Burmese War 1885 to 86. Establishment of the Indian National Congress in 1885. Lord Lansdowne 1888 to 94. Factory Act of 1891 granted weekly holiday and stipulated working hours for women and children. Civil services were divided into imperial, provincial, and subordinate services. Indian Council Act of 1892. The Durand Commission defined the Durand Line between British India and Afghanistan, now between Pakistan and Afghanistan, in 1893. Lord Elgin II, AD 1894 to 99. Southern Uprising of 1899, Great Famine of 1896-97, and Lyall Commission on Famine was established. Lord Curzon 1899 to 1905. A commission was appointed under Sir Thomas Raleigh in 1902 to suggest reforms regarding universities. The Indian Universities Act of 1904 was passed on the basis of its recommendations. Ancient Monuments Preservation Act of 1904. Thus, Archaeological Survey of India was established. Agricultural Research Institute was established at Pusa in Delhi, partitioned Bengal in 1905. Lord Minto 1905 to 10. Swadeshi Movement 1905 to 8. Foundation of Muslim League 1906. Surat Session and Split in the Congress 1907. Morley Minto Reforms 1909. Lord Harding 1910 to 16. Capital shifted from Calcutta to Delhi 1911. Delhi Darbar. Partition of Bengal was cancelled and Hindu Mahasabha was founded in 1915 by Pandit Madan Mohan Malvi. Lord Chelmsford 1916 to 21. Gandhi returned to India 1915 and founded the Sabarmati Ashram 1916, Champaran Satyagraha 1917, Satyagraha at Ahmedabad 1918, Kheda Satyagraha 1918. August Declaration 1917 by Montague, the then Secretary of State, and the Montfort Reforms or the Government of India Act of 1919. Rowlatt Act of March 1919 and the Jallianwala Bagh Massacre 13th April 1919. Khilafat Committee was formed and the Khilafat movement started 1919 to 20. Non-cooperation movement started 1920 to 22. Women's University was founded at Pune 1916. Lord Reading 1921 to 26. Repeal of Rowlatt Act, Chauri Chaura incident, RSS founded in 1925, suppressed non-cooperation movement, formation of Swaraj Party. Moplah Rebellion 1921 took place, Kakori train robbery on 1st August 1925. Communal right of 1923 to 25 in Multan, Amritsar, Delhi, etc. Lord Irwin AD 1926 to 31. Simon Commission visited India in 1927. Congress passed the Indian Resolution in 1929. Dandi March, 12th March 1930. Civil Disobedience Movement 1930. First Round Table Conference was held in England in 1930. Gandhi-Irwin Pact. Lahore Session of Congress and the Purna Swaraj Declaration 1925. Lord Wellington, 1931 to 36. Second Round Table Conference in London in 1931 and third in 1932. Government of India Act 1935 was passed. Communal Awards 16th August 1932. Assigned separate electorate for the Gandhiji went on a epic fast to protest against this division. Lord Linlithgow 1936 to 43. Congress Ministry's resignation celebrated as Deliverance Day by the Muslim League 1939 and Lahore Resolution 23rd March 1940 of the Muslim League demanding separate state for the Muslims. It was at this session that Jinnah propounded his two-nation theory. Outbreak of World War II in 1939, Cripps Mission in 1942, Quit India Movement 8th August 1942. Lord Wavell, AD 1943 to 47. Cabinet Mission Plan 16th May 1946. First meeting of the Constituent Assembly was held on 9th December 1946. Arranged the Shimla Conference on 25th June 1945 with the failure of talks between the Indian National Congress and the Muslim League. Election of Constituent Assembly were held and an interim government was appointed under Nehru. Lord Mountbatten, March to August 1947, last Viceroy of British India and the first Governor General of Free India. Partition of India decided by 3rd June Plan or Mountbatten Plan. Retired in June 1948 and was succeeded by C. Rajagopalachari, the first and last Indian Governor General of Free India. Indian Independence Act was passed by the British Parliament on 4th July 1947, by which India became independent on 15th August 1947.